Okay, I thought I'd show you how I get these blocks hollow. First off, I roughed the block out, and it's real close to where it needs to be now. And I built a cockpit floor out of 16th inch wood with plywood, the 64th plywood on both sides. That's what the pilot will mount to. Now, what I do is I weigh these pieces as I go. First thing we want to do is we definitely want to cut the weight in half. So we're going to turn it on and we're going to see that it's 54 grams or 1.9 ounces. So that's the first thing we want to do. We want to cut enough material out of it to at least cut it in half. So I'm going to use my gouges, as I've shown before, to remove the material. And it is pretty close to the correct shape. So we'll get it close and then I'll sand it out on the inside. We're going to get this down to a half an ounce, I hope. So give me a few minutes. I'll start digging away and I'll show you as I progress. Okay, I thought I'd just give you a little update on what's going on. We've almost dropped an ounce out of this. I don't think we're going to make our half ounce target, but maybe 3/4. I've got sandpaper on a roll and I'm sanding the inside of this. And we're going to make it 3/32 of an inch all the way around. And that's going to be about the lightest that we can get. Now, what I'm trying to express here is that this piece that I'm making will be as sanded as the outside. I know you think, well, why am I doing that? Well, first off, it's so much lighter. You can't hardly believe the difference in the weight that it makes if it's all uniformly sanded inside. I can't give you a percentage or how many grams exactly it takes out, but it takes out a noticeable amount of weight to sand it all even. And yeah, it takes some time, and I'll be spending a few hours sanding the inside of this. Once I get it close, I will switch to 220 and we'll smooth all the grooves out of it, and that makes it stronger as well. I have different size gouges, and we've got this gouged out all the way to the back. Now there's still some more material that I'll be taking out of there, because you want every grain you can get out. Not every gram, we want every grain that we can remove from this. What that does is give us more finishing weight, because the finish is ultra heavy. I just got a email message or private message from one of the guys on the forum saying they're going to go to urethane. Well, I went that route. They look really good, but you pay such a heavy penalty with the weight that I won't be doing that again. If that's what you want to do, by all means do so, but this building airplanes is an evolution. And I've been working on that evolution for 50 years. And I know what works and what doesn't work. But like I say, you're more than welcome to use the urethane. But I'm going to stick with dope. And there's a couple of reasons. First off, easily repaired. As I showed you in my silk span repair video, where you can't even tell where it was repaired, because that's just the nature of the materials. I can't find a dowel. Oh well. Heap of sanding. I haven't got down close enough to candle yet, but when I think we're coming up on the on the 30-second mark, I will get out the light and start candling it through. Now, the other gouges that I spoke of, I have all sorts of gouges. Straight, round, small, large, triangle. And you want to try to get every bit out. So now we're on this particular gouge. And you think, well, what is that little bit going to do there? Now, all this back here is so far away from the center of gravity that, let's say 2 grams. Let's figure 2 grams. 2 grams in a 7G turn is half an ounce. 2 grams in a 7, or on the airplane, takes 4 grams in the nose to balance it. So if you can get 2 grams out of the back, that makes the airplane 6 grams lighter, or 1/4 ounce. I know you think, well, that can't possibly be right. Trust me. Try it. And I'm getting better as I build more of these. And the reason being is that I'm taking more time to do them. And then I get inspired by guys like Todd Lee with his exquisitely finished Spitfire, and I hope that I can match that craftsmanship. It's unbelievable. I didn't know he had it in him, because I remember when he was a kid. But everybody grows up. Except me, I guess. Boy, them scalpels are sharp. Extremely sharp. Let's try it this way. I'm wondering if the weather's ever going to get any better. Ouch. I'll give you a hint here in a minute of what this thing weighs. We'll put it on the scale. I know it's not under an ounce yet. Feels to be about 35 grams. be quite a ways, quite a lot of sanding to get her down to where I want it. So let's take a look here. You see how bad this looks inside here? It doesn't take too long to do this. On the nose, I don't make it 3/32. Now, I don't know if I could get away with it or not, but I've always just made it about 3/16 to a quarter. First off, we need strength in the nose because you're always handling it up here. And second off, I don't want to have to add any nose weight. The trick to build model airplanes is having built enough of them to know what you can get away with so you don't have to add any extra weight. Because that adding weight is just a killer. I didn't think it was, but I certainly do now. So what I do for places like this is I take and glue sandpaper to my finger. Drop the CA, put your finger on it. Yeah, it goes off, it gets hot. But so what? And I'll keep sanding on this until I get her down. I gotta get it at least down to 3/4 of an ounce. I don't think we're gonna make half, but I'd be happy with it 3/4. I want to weigh the fuselage up too, because we were at 7.5, I think. I want that around 5 ounces would be great, but that ain't gonna happen. I think I'll call this tape Sanding with Sparky. And that way those that don't want to see sanding don't have to watch it. But remember, we need this to look as good as it does on the outside inside. And trust me guys, it doesn't take that much more work to do that, but it definitely sure helps on the weight. You know, people have asked me on some of the airplanes I built, how did you get them so light? Well, light wood and sanding. I also have this that helps quite a bit. I've got to get this off my hand here. It's a stone on a Dremel tool. glimpse of what it weighs. Let me clean this up real quick. Okay, let's give her a glimpse of what she weighs. Maybe she's down to an ounce. I don't know. $36.7 grams at 1.3 ounces. Boy, it's going to be tough to get any much lighter than that. So we got to try to cut the weight of this in half again. I don't know how. We're getting close. So I'm going to cut the camera and keep sanding. Okay, it's taken several tries. I think I'm going to be about the maximum that I'm going to get out of this. Now, I don't know why. Normally, I try to cut it in half. If it weighed 2 ounces to start, we get her down to an ounce and then continue on. Well, for some reason, I think it's this plywood floor, and it's losing weight, but it's not losing weight at a drastic pace. So what we have here is 32 grams now, and 1.15 ounces. Now, it should have cut, I've cut more than 50% off of this. It should have dropped in weight 50%, but it didn't. So if I can get her down to an ounce, I'll be happy. I thought I could get her down to 3/4 of an ounce or half an ounce, but there just is no way, and I think it's the plywood floor. So what I did was I sanded it out, and I've redug it out some more to try to get her down even thinner. I'm even going to take the nose down some more, because that weight, if you're toting around all that extra weight for nothing, it eats up horsepower, the inertias go way up. The airplane is not as fun to fly if it's overweight. So I'm shooting for mid-50s with this model. The last one I built was 59, and it has a nice finish on it, but I'd like to have a nicer finish and be 4 ounces lighter. So in order to do that, I'm having to sand more and use less material. Now, there were some interesting things mentioned at the Nats from Chris Rudd, and Ron O'Toole had told me, but I just don't like the looks of the airplanes, except the Thunderbolt, with the airplanes without a spinner. If you're going to get it light, you're going to have to leave some parts off of it, because it doesn't matter how light the wood is, these fixed weights are just too high. And if it's going to be nice looking, the paint is going to weigh. and there's just no way around it. So I'm going to see if I can maybe get it down to 55. That would be at least in Billy's class of airplane. And I gotta say, that man can really build. And what's amazing about his airplanes is they're so light, they're finished very nicely. And his one airplane, I think he said, was 19 years old. It's still, I think it was on the third row the last time it was at the Nats. It's, you know, it's not front row, but for 19 years, that's pretty good. This is starting to feel a little lighter now, so we might get her down under an ounce. If I get it to an ounce, I'll keep sanding until I get 1 gram underneath it. But for now, the target is 1 ounce. So I'm going to shut the camera off, keep sanding, I'll keep you informed. Well, now comes the fun part that I do all the time. We finally got it cut in half for weight. We're down to 1 ounce. 1.5. 30 grams. And we have it sanded out fairly well. But we're going to keep sanding, see if we can sand 2 grams out of this and get it down under that 1 ounce mark. Now you think, well, 2 grams, that ain't much. That's a lot. When you're this thin all over, so it's going to be going to take some time to get this down, but we'll give her a shot. We'll be back when we get her down to under 1 ounce. So see you in a bit. Well, this airplane was started the 19th after I got back for the National, and I kind of want to give you a rundown of where I'm at. I've been posting some how-to videos on it, not all of them, because of the first video where I made the other parts. But I want to show you where I'm at in the process. What we have so far is a fuselage, completely made, less the cowl. I will probably make the cowl after I get it together. The rudder. We have the elevator stabilizer that I made before I went to the National. So this is the one that I was going to use on the other airplane. And of course, the wing. Now, I won't cut flaps until after I put this together. Yeah, it's just something, the way that I do it. I mean, I probably could cut flaps before, but I don't see the need in it. So let's weigh this stuff up and get a weight on everything. It'll kind of give you an idea where we should end up. So I don't have it set on grams, I have it set on ounces. The wing is 7.75 ounces complete. The elevator stabilizer complete is 2.3. The rudder is 0.45. And the fuselage so far is 6.75. Now that'll probably get lightened up a little bit because there is some material in the top block that I still can take out. But we'll say 675. So let's weigh it all together now and see what we have. Seventeen and a quarter ounces. Not too bad. So you can figure an ounce a piece for the flaps, so that's 17, 18, 19 ounces. An ounce for the cowl is 20. And the canopy will go on the outside another ounce, 21 ounces. And the tail wheel mount, we'll say 22 ounces. We're going to be well within our 25 ounce or 26 ounce number that we need to do before we start finishing. Of course, the bell crank, so we got 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 ounces. 23, we'll say an ounce for that. 24 ounces, I'd say. So that's well within the 26 ounce area that we need to be at before we start finishing. Today, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the bell crank. I'll start a new reel on the video because this is the second week. So I'll go ahead and upload the videos that I've done so far. And I don't remember exactly where we're at as far as what's been shown how to do or whatever. This really wasn't a how-to build. This was just letting you know what I decided to do after the Nationals. And I'm real happy with it. I'm glad I decided to change direction and go with this wing instead of my other wing. This wing is a proven wing, where the other wing was, maybe it'll work, maybe it wouldn't. And I really needed something that I knew would work well. Now the other wing will work, but as I stated before, this particular wing is a proven wing, and I don't know, things that are proven to work are better than experiments. I mean, I built a lot of airplanes with this wing in it. So anyway, I'll cut the camera. Edit the video up. I wanted to show you the turn up here. We'll edit the video up. Keep in mind when you're doing your woodwork, make it as absolutely close to perfect as you can. Of course, there's going to be a few mistakes, but definitely try for perfection. And the closer you can get to perfection, the better your model is going to come out. Now this wing is dead nut straight. So I'm happy about that. It's solid and it's light. So we'll see you in a bit when I get this edited up. We'll get it downloaded, edited, and put on the web. And I'll come back. Remember, Control Line Craftsman is going to be switching URLs. We're going to go back over to the forum. It's easier for me to run it on the forum than it is for me to run it on a separate site. So two things. It's easier for me. It's going to be easier for you because you won't have to log in twice. You'll be able to just go right to Control Line Craftsman right on the forum. And you people who are not members of Control Line Craftsman will not be able to see what I'm doing. So if you want to be a member, make sure that you subscribe. I'll get a subscription link going for Control Line Craftsman, because you're going to have the tag in order to see what's going on. Subscriptions are for a year. Now, I had 6 months that I didn't do anything on Control Line Craftsman because I'm still waiting on the plans for the RD1, and I wanted to do that project for everybody, and I wanted to have it ready for the Nationals to give away to the beginners. But unfortunately, I just don't have the plans. So we have an opportunity to either wait on the plans or you guys build something that I designed. It's your call. I can design it and have it ready to go. You know, we can start building that after I get this together. The next segment's going to be, I have a huge project in painting. There'll probably be a month of painting videos. I'll be doing the mixing of paint, the way that I do it. Where when I get ready to start this, covering this wing, I get 1 quart of clear dope for the whole airplane. I'm going to kind of break that down into segments. People say, well, 1 quart of dope, how does that work? That's 1 quart unthinned dope, so that makes a half a gallon. And if you can't do it in a half a gallon, man, you got no business even thinking about finishing, because a half a gallon is a lot of paint. It comes out to about 1 ounce per coat. So you put 10 coats on it, you got 10 ounces. That's just the way it is. And we're going to show how to mix the paint and do a nice finish, because I do want a super nice finish on this airplane. You'll notice how nice the landing gear blocks came out down here. I'm going to also show a tutorial on how to bend landing gear wire and what I use, which is the K&S bender, and how to figure it out. And I normally use a coat hanger to get the rough shape. So today I'm going to be mounting the bell crank. I'll show that in the next segment. So we'll see you in a bit.